No trickery, I am moving very poorly around the overworld in Super Mario Bros. Wonder on my iPad. And you can too. You will still need your Switch though. Well, what did you expect? Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the wrong way around. This is the ShadowCast 2. You may remember a while ago, if you're a fan of the channel, that we looked at this, the ShadowCast from Genki. This is the follow-up, and it can also go the same way around. This is the ShadowCast 2. The ShadowCast 1 was fun. It was a useful thing. I actually used it a lot in terms of using this camera that I'm currently using to interface it with my computer and use it essentially as a webcam. When it came to streaming and things like that. Remember when I did that? This is the updated model, whereas this could only do 1080p 30 or 720p 60, this can do 1080p 60. And it comes with another little wrinkle that I've already mentioned. Yes, using a brand new app from Genki, and indeed various other apps available on the App Store, because of some changes to iPad OS, you can indeed use your iPad as a monitor for your Switch using this thing, or indeed some others. But how does it work? What does the setup look like? Is it elegant? It's not elegant. I'm gonna give that to you straight away, but you can make it more elegant with another product by Genki. This is the oh god, I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it says it here, it's the Covert Dock 2. Yes, believe it or not, this is an entire Switch dock in just this little form factor. I mean, typically it comes looking like, come on now. Typically it looks like this with a standard US plug, but it does have an adapter to make it into the best plug. So by using this and plugging it in like this, along with a couple of other cables and a Nintendo Switch, you can get it running on your iPad like this. How am I doing this? That's the secret. There's a bigger thing that I'm going to reveal later. Let me just show you, okay? The setup looks like this. It's not exactly elegant, but it's better than this, which is what it would look like without the Covert dock. Now, you may well be thinking rightly, Alex, why are you going on about using it on the iPad if it's this sort of messy just to get it running? Well, because this is how it's being marketed. It's saying, hey, use your iPad as a screen for your Switch. And it works. It does work, but it's not elegant, is it? For one thing, you are still tethered to the wall just due to the nature of the dock. I mean, if you wanted to be truly portable, you could always use one of these great big power stations. But realistically, people are going to be using this in the wall as it is and using it with their iPad as per all the advertising spiel. And, you know, it's true, it does work. And I suppose if you're going to a hotel or, you know, you're going away somewhere where you know you're not going to have a screen and you still want to dock your Switch and your iPad's there, or, I don't know, you're on the train or something and, you know, they've generally got plug sockets, stick it in there. Yeah, I can see it working. I can see that there are applications. I just think they're quite narrow. But there's a more important side to all this, and it's one that they haven't been touting as well in the advertising, no doubt because it is a more niche application, even though it's where it really shines. This is a capture card. The Genki app that they've developed, I'm just going to acknowledge, I've got a keyboard on my iPad, it's not a laptop. It's an iPad. With this app, you can simply take the feed coming into it, press that button, and you're flipping, recording everything. It just works as a capture card. Yeah. This thing combined with an iPad or indeed any computer, you know, it's USB-C, it just treats it as a webcam. So anything that can take a webcam can take this. You can simply capture 1080p 60 footage from your Switch. And you know what? For the average user, it's pretty good. But yeah, bear with me. The color is fairly accurate, the artifacting is relatively minor all things considered, and you know, for just somebody who's just starting out, this is also really flippin' cheap. I mean, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, so prices will now appear. Considering for a very long time I've been using the Elgato HD60X, which can do 1080p 60 but also 4K 30, and it costs this much, and you know, if you're just doing Switch, then 1080p 60 is fine. And this one costs this much. Also, it's really small. It's simple to use, the picture quality's good, the input latency is overall pretty acceptable. I mean, you're gonna notice it if you're playing Super Mario Wonder or Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, obviously. You are going to feel that because it's about 4 frames of input lag, which is about 66 milliseconds, roughly. You're gonna feel it, absolutely, but you know what? For most games, you're probably not going to feel it. Now I'm going to take off my average user hat and put on my much larger technical pedant hat. This thing is okay, but it is not of professional quality. And I'm not talking the build or anything like that. I'm talking about the quality of the image that comes out of it. Visually, it's all right, you know, sort of there are some sharpening artifacts that I can see. The color is hot in places, but it's still okay. It's not completely blown out or anything like that. And the big thing, it doesn't hold 60 frames a second perfectly at 1080p. I've put this thing through its paces, and you will get the occasional dropped frame, and I noticed it really apparently in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, because this is a game that I started testing this with first. Anyone with a technical eye will be able to tell what I'm talking about with this footage, and anybody without, let's slow it down. You should hopefully still be able to see that there are some seriously dropped frames here. It's not egregious by any means. But as I said, I'm wearing a much bigger hat right now. If you watched that footage first time and you couldn't see anything, or you just plan on doing 30 frames a second, go for it. This will do you 100%. It's really good, really cheap. It's a flipping good little capture card. And yeah, I mean, I still think it's got great applications for things where frame rate isn't as stringent, as absolutely necessary, but I've got to be honest, it's dropping frames. I can't hide that fact. But you know what doesn't? It's Big Brother. This is a dinky little cheapo thing. This is a larger and a lot better thing. And it's still, I've got to be honest, this is still pretty cheap. That's a cheap price for what this can do. This functions much more like a typical external capture card like the HD60X or something like that. And it's actually a fair bit bigger than the X. But you know what? I don't care, because I absolutely adore this thing. This little guy will drop frames at 60 frames a second in the occasional sort of busy scene or one with a lot of gradients. I don't quite know why, but it just will drop frames occasionally. This thing, I can't make it drop a frame, certainly not at 1080p 60. Now that's not a big deal, the HD60X can do the same thing as well, but this is cheaper, a lot cheaper. And do you know what else it can do? Double the frames at 4K. This can do 4K 60. Which for an external capture card is still pretty blinking new. Internal capture cards have been able to do it for a while now, but external capture cards at this price? This is pretty flipping insane, and I had to put it through its paces. I plugged my Xbox Series X into this thing and I played some Halo, and it was a busy map that I played. And you know what I found? The very occasional dropped frame that I can't guarantee wasn't the game itself. And I say that with complete confidence. It could well be that this does drop the occasional frame at 4K 60, but frankly, I can't tell. And I don't have a game that I am comfortable that runs completely solidly at 60 frames a second with busy stuff going on that I can actively compare it to. Like Smash. Smash is always my go-to. I can't say for a fact that this, that this drops any frames at 4K 60. 4K 60. Some people are going to say, oh, that's not that high. Flippin' heck, for this price it is. And what's even more exciting is that I can use this with the iPad as I was when I was showing off the little dinky one. It was this little guy providing the feed. Oh. I can plug this into my iPad and I can record at 1080p 60 from the Switch with no problems. The app doesn't seem to support 4K 60 yet. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. That might be an iPad limitation. I don't know. I've enjoyed using this so much with the iPad and also just, sort of using my Mac and everything. That's how I captured the 4K 60. This has become my go-to now, and this is not an expensive capture card by any means. I am frankly flabbergasted at what they've been able to do with this little puppy. It's great. It's got a good number of ports on the back as well, like aux in and line in, and you've got a pass through. I don't use these two at all, and I'd like them replaced with something else, but secrets? Capturing footage portably has always been a bit of a thorn in my side. I've generally had to take a laptop, and my laptop is getting very old now, coming on to nearly 10 years, and 8 years. Just say the number. And generally, when I've been out and about, I've used my Steam Deck and my Elgato HD60X, but it's been kind of annoying because the HD60X can be a little bit finicky with the Steam Deck for some reason. That might be a Linux thing, I don't know. But this, with the iPad, solves it. I could indeed use the ShadowCast 2, not the Pro, if I wanted to be even more portable, but by the time I've got this, I might as well take this and make sure I don't suffer any lost frames. But that's a me problem. One thing I would love to see, and this would actually make it the go-to for me for everything, is the ability to use it without a PC or an iPad or anything like that. An SD card or, you know, USB slot on the side or something, capture to a hard drive without use of a PC, I'd lap that up. I'd lap that up so hard, because it's always a nuisance having to plug this into something else. And that's not unique to this by any means. There are very few capture cards out there that have the sort of PC free mode. There was, Elgato did do one, I think it was the 4K60S Plus or something. They stopped making it because it was really unreliable. I don't know if that's why they stopped making it, but it was really unreliable. I know you've only just released this puppy, but Genki, make it happen. SD card functionality or USB, you know, or both ideally, so you can record to this without an external device. I will be the happiest sausage that was ever a sausage. And you can quote me on that. So there you go. That is a look at the Alpine collection, which I think I forgot to mention earlier, from Genki. A nice little range of things. This, pretty good. Good, really nice way to sort of like break into capturing and using it on your iPad if that's your kind of thing. Portable dock, yeah, not going to argue with that. Pretty useful, slightly cumbersome with everything else, but you know, still not bad. But this is really, really flipping good. I don't know how you made it that cheap, but this is the bee's knees. If you want to learn more about any of these products, then make sure you check out the links in the description. You can find it all. I think it's still on a Kickstarter at the time of recording, so you know, or Indiegogo, I don't even know anymore. But they'll be available to purchase separately in the near future. This is a good one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you write, the moment may be fleeting, but the memory of it lasts a lifetime on that subscribe button. It's etched in here for some reason. And be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. Oh god, it's really magnetized. Woo! 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 But what does the setup look like? Is it elegant? Is it straightforward? Well, to make it significantly more elephant, with the app, you can simply just press boop, and I've set it to record to an external device. There's an opening in the market. If you can fill that, I will be the happiest boy in the world, and this will be the best capture card on the market for me. External, internal is another thing entirely. There's not really a lot of point in having a PC-free internal capture card. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you capture that subscribe button at 4K60? Bad.